Sago, my name's Kyla Thompson. I'm a first year midwifery student with the Ungwahua Midwives Collective. The organs of the digestive system can be separated into two main groups. Those forming the alimentary canal and the accessory digestive organs. The accessory organs consist of the teeth, the tongue, and several large digestive glands. They assist in the process of digestive breakdown in various ways. The alimentary canal is also called the gastrointestinal tract. Its organs are the mouth, the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, small intestines, and the large intestine, which leads to the terminal opening, also called the anus. The organs of the alimentary canal form a continuous, coiled, hollow muscular tube that winds through the ventral body cavity and is open at both ends. In a cadaver, it is about 9 meters or 30 feet, but it is shorter in a living person because of its constant muscle tone. Food enters the digestive tract through the mouth. Also known as the oral cavity. It is a mucous membrane-lined cavity. The lips or labia protect the opening. The cheeks form its lateral walls. The hard palate forms its anterior roof, and the soft palate forms its posterior roof. The ovula is a fleshy finger-like projection of the soft palate. The space between the lips and the cheeks externally and the teeth and gums is the vestibule. The area contained by the teeth is the oral cavity proper. The muscular tongue occupies the floor of the mouth. It has several bony attachments. 2 of these are hyoid bone and the styloid process of the skull. The lingual frenulum is a fold of mucous membrane that secures the tongue to the floor and limits posterior movement. At the back of the mouth are the palatine tonsils and the lingual tonsils. As mentioned in Chapter 13, the tonsils play a part in the body's defense system. As food enters the mouth, it is mixed with saliva and is masticated or chewed. The cheeks and closed lips hold the food between the teeth during chewing, and the tongue mixes food with saliva during chewing and initiates swallowing. Food breakdown begins before it leaves the mouth. The tongue is also lined with papillae containing taste buds that allow us to enjoy the foods as we eat. So from the mouth, food passes into the oropharynx and the laryngopharynx, which are common passageways for the food and air. The walls of the pharynx contain two skeletal muscle layers. The cells of the inner layer run longitudinally, and the cells of the outer layer run around the wall in a circular fashion. Alternating contractions of these two muscle layers propel food through the pharynx into the esophagus. This propelling mechanism is called peristalsis. So the esophagus, also called the gullet, runs from the pharynx through the diaphragm to the stomach. It is about 25 centimeters or 10 inches long, and is essentially a passageway that conducts food to the stomach. The stomach is on the left side of the body. It's almost hidden by the liver and the diaphragm. It varies from 15 to 25 centimeters or 6 to 10 inches in length. But its diameter and volume depend on how much food it contains. It can hold up to 4 liters when full, or a gallon, and collapses inward on itself when empty. The stomach acts as a temporary storage tank for food and a site for food breakdown. The arrangement of muscular layers allows the stomach to move food and churn food, physically breaking it down. The chemical breakdown of proteins begins in the stomach, and most digestive activity occurs in the polyoric region of the stomach. After food is processed in the stomach, it resembles heavy cream and is called chyme, or chyme. The chyme enters the small intestine through the polyoric sphincter. The small intestine is a muscular tube extending from the pyloric sphincter to the large intestine. It has an average length of 8 to 20 feet. It is the body's main digestive organ. So the subdivisions are the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. The ileum meets the large intestine at the ileocecal valve, which joins the large intestine and the small intestine. Chemical digestion of food begins in the small intestine because the small intestine is only able to process a small amount of food at a time. The pyloric sphincter controls food movement into the small intestine and prevents the small intestine from being overwhelmed. The small intestine's walls have 3 structures that increase the absorptive surface: microvilli, villi, and circular folds. Microvilli are tiny projections of the plasma membrane of the mucosal cells. that give the cell surface a fuzzy appearance. The plasma membranes bear enzymes that complete the digestion of proteins and carbohydrates in the small intestines. Villi are finger-like projections of the mucosa that give it a velvety appearance and feel. Within each villus is a rich capillary bed and a modified lymphatic capillary, called a lacteal. The digested foodstuffs are absorbed through the mucosal cells into both the capillaries and the lacteal. Circular folds are deep folds of both mucosa and the submucosal layers. Collections of lymphatic tissues called Peyer's patches are found in the submucosal and increase in number towards the small intestine. Peyer's patches prevent the large amount of bacteria remaining in the undigested food residue from entering the bloodstream. So enzymes that are produced by the pancreas are ducted into the duodenum through the pancreatic ducts, where they complete the chemical breakdown of foods in the small intestine. And bile formed by the liver also enters through the bile duct. The main pancreas duct and bile ducts join at the duodenum to form the hepatopancreatic ampulla. From there, the bile and pancreatic juice travel through the duodenal papilla and enter the duodenum together. The large intestine is larger in diameter than the small intestine, but shorter in length. It is about 1.5 meters or 5 feet long and extends from the ileocecal valve to the anus. Its major functions are to dry out the indigestible food residue by absorbing water and to eliminate these residues from the body as feces. The large intestine frames the small intestine on 3 sides and has the following subdivisions: the cecum, which is right here, the appendix, the colon, rectum, and anal canal. The sac-like cecum is the first part of the large intestine. Then hanging from the cecum is the appendix, which is a potential trouble spot because it twists and is an ideal spot for bacteria to accumulate. So the colon is divided into several regions. The ascending colon travels up the right side of the abdominal cavity and makes a right turn at the right side at the right colic flexure to travel across the abdominal cavity as the transverse colon. It then turns again at the left colic flexure and continues down the left side as the descending colon to enter the pelvis, where it becomes the S-shaped sigmoid colon. The sigmoid colon, rectum, and anal canal lie in the pelvis. Rectum's right here. The anal canal ends at the anus, which opens to the exterior. The anal canal has an external voluntary sphincter, the external anal sphincter, and an internally voluntary sphincter. The sphincters act to open and close the anus. Because most nutrients have been absorbed before reaching the large intestine, no villi are present in the large intestines, but there are a tremendous number of goblet cells in the mucosa that produce alkaline-rich mucus that acts as a lubricant to ease the passage of feces to the end of the digestive tract. And that's everything. Thanks for watching.